Hey everyone, it's La Bourgeoise here, and thank you for tuning into my video. I initially was not going to make a post. I was debating on posting, but after listening to my sermon this morning, I got the push to talk about these topics and make a video. So here we are. First of all, it is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Secondly, it's also Nurses Week, so happy Nurses Week to us nurses. Nurses Week and Mother's Day being together like this is super special to me, just because as a labor and delivery nurse, it's such a gift bringing these babies into the world and just really helping the moms out during one of the most vulnerable times of their lives. So happy Mother's Day to y'all. So I guess where I want to start is talking about something that stood out to me during the sermon this morning. So my pastor was saying, he always drops gems, but one thing that stood out to me was him sharing that we as individuals have things we know we need to do, messages we know we need to share, but we're not doing those things for whatever reason. And I am guilty of that. And I have my own reasons, of course, but the older that I'm getting, the more I'm realizing that life is what you make it, and you need to create space for yourself because nobody will do it for you. So, reflecting on my life after college, y'all, 10 out of 10. Okay, everything that I've wanted to accomplish, I have done it. And I go to work, I show up, I pay my bills, I take care of my responsibilities. And so that adulting in me, I've got it down packed. But the other part in me, that I'm still kind of chasing, I guess you would say, is the little girl in me who always wanted to sing and play instruments. And that might sound cliche, like chasing your dreams, because everybody talks about it, but that is so true. And honestly, if I could, I would sing every single day and play instruments every day, y'all. Like, that is all I want to do. So as I am reflecting and I'm like, wow, I was able to buy my own house. I did all the research necessary, and I'm able to invest and, save towards retirement and, do my thing. I'm also like, this part is up here, but that, part of me following my dreams is kind of like right here. And so I understand that, life happens. We all have responsibilities. We all have things to handle. And, putting your dreams off just might have to be your thing, unfortunately. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. The fact that everybody out here has something they want to do, but they are not doing it for whatever reason it might be. And, if that is you, we get it, but do not let it become your life. Like, for example, I know some people who have been unable to follow their dreams for their own reasons, but they've been able to still accomplish it like years down the road. And then there are also people who have been unable to follow their dreams for whatever reason, and like they never really came back for it. And that is not the way I would want anybody to live. That's not the way I want to live. Like, I'm going to be singing. Like, I need to be singing. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Another thing is knowing the things that you need to say, and like just showing up and saying stuff. And being a Congolese nurse, being an African nurse, in maternity, in labor and delivery, it has been not the easiest journey, because of, like, the patients are one thing, but like the coworkers are something else. Like, that is a story for another day. But you really have to understand that, like, these places, they are not meant to they were really never meant for people like me. So being in a space like this, you have to take up space. And another thing that I'm learning as I'm getting older is that I was never really allowed to take up that much space when I was younger. And, for whatever reason that might be, but it's so funny because like now that I am, a young adult, I'm realizing that, the things that I went through as a child and like the things that I was told as a child, like it's still here. And I have to do the inner work to process the emotions and understand the emotions and unlearn those things and still try to put my best foot forward. And that's one thing that I really want to talk about too. And we will continue to have these conversations because it's needed, but I'm not going to talk and like generalize the African culture or anything like that. But like me growing up, y'all, if I were to tell y'all everything that I went through, like we would be here for days. And, I'm not looking for pity or anything like that, but the fact that after all this time, I am still like learning to validate my own emotions and focus on my happiness and worry about the things that mean the most to me. When as a little girl, I was never allowed to do that. Like, yes, let me take that back. I was able to focus on, singing and cheerleading and choir and, do all the extracurriculars. But even though I was allowed to do all of that, there were still people who hated me for it. And it's kind of like, it's not my fault that, I was able to do these things. But because these people felt however they felt towards me being able to be a kid, their emotions and their words like stung as a kid. Like imagine being like 15 years old and hearing somebody you look up to like talk down on you, and it's kind of like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? And as a kid, of course you can't like say that, like that's considered rude. But one thing that I will always appreciate myself for is for seeing things before they would happen. Like I knew these things weren't normal as a kid. I knew that these people were not nice as a kid, and still to this day, it's literally like it's not changed. And I feel like I've been talking for a while, but it's important that I get these things out because I feel like somebody out there needs to hear these things. And I am so tired of like waiting for the right moment or saying, well, I'm going to start speaking about, the culture or my past when this happens. No, I can't keep doing that. So that is why we are here. But I think what I was saying is like that's the one thing that I appreciate about myself, like just seeing things for what they were and like standing strong on how I felt. And being Black anywhere requires you to take up space unapologetically. And being a Black nurse, specifically in labor and delivery, requires you to take up space and stay there. Do not let them try and push you out. These places, as I stated before, were never meant for people that look like me. But we are here and we are excelling and we are doing great. And as I had stated, as a child, I was taught that was not okay. To take up space was not okay. To be yourself was not okay. I don't even know what these people were on. Like, I'm not even trying to be rude or nothing, but like as I'm growing up, I'm like, how did you feel comfortable talking to me like that when I was literally a kid? How did you feel comfortable teaching me these things that are so detrimental? Like nothing makes sense. Okay, like nothing made sense when these things were happening. And now that I am 8-9 years older, nothing still makes sense. And I just wish that these things that were said to me when I was younger, like they're not being said anymore. And I am so low-key and I really keep to myself, but I just wonder like what difference I would make if I were able to be somebody's mentor. And I know that I have been unofficially, And I'm really happy at that, but I just know that there is somebody out there who was probably going through something that I went through, or who's probably going through that right now. And if they had saw my video, they would probably know that they are not alone. Their feelings are valid, and that it is important to realize that your feelings are valid from the start. Because if not, when you do try to go into these higher places, you are going to let them put you down, and then you are going to leave when you don't need to leave, because we need you here. So that's one thing that I also wanted to talk about, guys. Listening to the pastor today say all these things is kind of like, oh, are you talking to me? And I've always had like these revelations, but I've never really moved on it too much, mainly because I think I need to wait on a specific moment before I start talking about these things. But the moment's here, and to whoever is watching this video, your feelings are valid and your feelings do matter, even if everyone around you tells you that they don't. Do not listen to them. And I'm speaking from experience. I was literally saying not to listen to them when I was a teenager, and I'm saying the same things right now, and I have been right this entire time. Because if you do start to listen to them, it will change the way that you view yourself, and that is not fair. And that's not what you deserve. And looking back at my teenage years, it does make me very sad, because I don't want to be vulgar, but what in the world could I have done to make an adult treat me like this, to make an adult talk to me like this, to make an adult jealous at 16, 15, 10 years old? That'll make no sense to me. But everyone has their own issues, and everyone has to do the inner work to get through them. And yeah, speaking from experience, y'all, like, have your own back, validate your own feelings, take up space, and really start to learn yourself. And yeah, I think that was basically what I wanted to talk about. And like I said, I think a couple times in this video that oh, it's a conversation for another day. But if y'all are interested in more conversations like this, I will be more than happy to have these conversations with y'all, and really talk about the things that have been normalized in my culture, in my life, that are not normal. I really believe that these things need to be talked about, especially since we are now the new adults. We cannot repeat the same mistakes, and because we need to lead the next generation to be better than we ever were. And yeah, it's just super important, and I'm super happy to have been able to make this video and talk to y'all about it, and to show you guys that it's possible. Okay, like, you can be the anomaly. Okay, you can be that one person who does things that are not considered normal for your family or your culture. You can be the one who buys a house. Okay, you can be the one who gets married young. Okay, you can be the one who follows their dreams. You can be the one to break all of these generational curses. Okay, but it just has to start with you. Anyways, y'all, that was the end of my video. I hope that y'all liked it, and y'all will be seeing me again very, very soon. So until next time.